The UK Prime Minister says he's ready to deploy troops to Ukraine if Moscow agrees to a deal requiring European peacekeepers. The announcement coming ahead of an emergency meeting with European leaders in Paris on Monday after being cut out of negotiations. President Trump's Ukraine envoy said Saturday Europe would not be invited to peace talks between the US and Russia aimed at ending the war in Ukraine. This after President Trump called Russian President Vladimir Putin last week, declaring an immediate start to negotiations. Trump criticized the European Union for not doing enough to support Ukraine, repeatedly urging the EU to increase its financial and military contributions to Ukraine's defense. In an op-ed for The Telegraph Sunday, UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer said sending peacekeeping troops to Ukraine risked putting them in harm's way, but that the crisis was an existential question for Europe and a once-in-a-generation moment. He also said the UK is willing to lead in Ukraine's defense and security, committing around $3 billion every year until 2030. Starmer said in an interview ahead of the Paris meeting the UK is prepared to step up its overall response in Europe.
And we must continue to put Ukraine in the strongest possible position, whatever happens next, and to make sure that if there is peace, and we all want peace, that it is lasting. I think there's a bigger piece here as well, which is that this isn't just about the front line in Ukraine, it's the front line of Europe and of the United Kingdom. It's about our national security, and I think that we need to do more, we need to step up.
Sweden isn't ruling out participating in the peacekeeping mission in Ukraine either, according to Reuters. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson says negotiations would need to progress before he would make that decision, though. The AP reports Britain and France are also leading a European-only effort to send troops to Ukraine for post-war security. European leaders began exploring what kind of force might be needed about a year ago, with the sense of urgency now growing amid concerns President Trump is leaving them out of a deal with Putin. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is praising Poland, thanking the country's prime minister and the Polish people in a post to X, saying Poland is a model NATO ally, leading on defense spending, deterrence, and readiness. This is what leadership looks like. Despite the recent support, NATO's Secretary General Mark Rutte warned in December Putin was orchestrating a campaign discouraging other countries from backing Ukraine.
Putin is trying to wipe Ukraine off the map. He's trying to fundamentally change the security architecture that has kept Europe safe for decades. And he is trying to crush our freedom and way of life.
The U.S. and Russia are expected to meet in Saudi Arabia this week for talks to work towards ending the war in Ukraine. For Straight Arrow News, I'm Ryan Robertson. For all of your latest news headlines, download the Straight Arrow News app today.